Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the BitSocket podcast. I am Six Scott White.
And I am beautifully healthy Joe Merrick.
That was really good. It was alliterative as well, which I enjoyed. I'm beautifully healthy Joe.
I'm Jolly Joe Merrick.
Jolly Joe would have been
Jolly
quite
Joe.
good. I could edit it so that you just say Jolly Joe.
Jolly fucking Joe.
But I won't.
Juckin' Joe.
Juckin' Joe.
This episode is a very special one. Why is it special, Scott?
This is our PlayStation 2 special.
We're remembering the beautiful days of the PlayStation 2.
That's right.
The emotion engine.
Emotion. We've done a few specials, haven't we?
We did the handheld special.
We've done Yakuza.
Every episode's been a Yakuza special. So.
Did we do? Yeah, we did a Yakuza.
We did a Shenmue special. Metal Gear Solid special.
Aye.
So this is the PlayStation 2 special. We're celebrating, well, in my opinion, it is the greatest console ever. I mean, my favourite console obviously is the Dreamcast. We all know that. But the greatest console ever made is PlayStation 2.
I think it's the greatest home console.
Yeah, it's got the most best games for it.
Most best games.
Yeah, it's like you can't
the best most games.
You know what I mean? You can't mess with it. It's like it's got the best games, it's got the most games, it's got the best most games. So yeah, and yeah, I mean a lot of the games have been sort of remastered and re-released into PS3, but that doesn't count because they were in the PS2 first, right?
Yeah, but you're not going to be annoyed if I make you play a PS2 game on a PS3, are you?
Not in my house.
Well, we're in my house, so
yep, we're going to be talking about PlayStation 2 classics. But first of all, should we talk about what we've been playing anyway?
Yeah, I've not been playing anything on PS2, have you?
Yeah, I have actually.
Oh well, you can start then.
Well, because I got a new telly at Christmas, right?
Right.
I thought I'd test out the PS2 because I've got component cables for it, but I've been thinking about maybe getting one of those HDMI adapters for it.
All right.
So this is getting really geeky. But I went through a lot of my PlayStation 2 games, just to sort of play them, just have a wee shot and all that. What?
It's just so funny.
What's so funny about that?
Kim, I'm not going into work today. It's a big pile of PS2 shite.
What's work? See, is there work somewhere?
Do you have freelance graphics?
What are I thought about? Aye. PS2 games.
Yeah.
I was going through some of my old favourites on it. Space Channel 5.
I was going to say Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Was there a Space Jam game for the PS2?
No, for PlayStation 1 I'm sure there was one, but
you probably could still play on the PS2.
Space Jam. Space Jam.
Space
Jam 5, Xenosaga, Yakuza, Shinobi.
Shinobi.
We'll come back to that later. I even put on fucking the Matrix Path of Neo just to have a wee shot. The PS2 is just so full of games.
Why do you still have that?
I think everybody of a certain age has a collection of PS2 games they don't remember buying because they were so cheap at the time. Because you could go into the game shop and then for less than a tenner there's loads of games sitting there.
Remember we played Matrix, The Path of Neo.
Yeah.
And there was the bit where the agent started just punching the scenery instead of punching you. So you dodged.
But I was still getting hurt.
You just kept punching the wall, but your health was going down.
Oh god, that
was such
so bad.
Remember how excited people were because there was going to be a Matrix game.
I know.
And it put you in the hands of the all-powerful Neo, and you realised that Neo wasn't powerful.
I know. But you know what I mean? It's full of a lot of games of varying quality, but I still love playing them. Anyway, at the Getaway, I'll still say the Getaway, even though it's a shit game, I still love it because I learned the London A to Z on it. So.
I was walking in London at the weekend for my anniversary. We weren't there for a walk.
And you were like, that's not a bar that I bumped down in Mission 2.
Oh no, we were actually walking down to the Victoria Albert.
Aye.
So we walked past what do you call it? Where's the Queen live? Buckingham Palace. There we go. Buckingham Palace.
Aye.
And I was saying to Alison, I remember this from the Getaway.
I say that to Kim as well, and every time I say that she rolls her eyes.
And she was like, what was that? And I was like, shut up.
But there's a lot of cult classics in the PlayStation 2 as well. Like Gregory Horror Show. Did you ever play that?
I didn't. I really wanted to. I never played
that. I've shot that before. In fact, it was full of really good horror games because you had the best Silent Hill games. You had fucking Forbidden Siren, which if you ever played that, that's fucking terrifying.
I don't play scary games.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm a wuss.
And like racing games that like Auto Modelista. Like I would never say it's a good racing game, but I love it because of the way it looks and how unique it is and stuff like that. PlayStation 2, man, it's such a good console. So we're going to celebrate the PlayStation 2, the special episode. I'm going to kick that off right now with
5 Minutes in Heaven with Joe. So, as we've gone over multiple times already, it is a PS2 special that we're doing today, and 5 Minutes in Heaven is no different.
It's a special PS2 special.
played on the PS3.
But yeah, don't tell him.
So, we're going to be playing Clover Studios' finest beat-em-up,
Yes, we are.
God Hand.
Such a good game. I've not played much. Well, I have played a bit of this game before. I mean, the thing is, hand in your gamer card and gamer gun. Are you timing me?
Yeah, the timer has begun.
Oh, right, okay. I've started in level 1, so... and I've just went into the menu by mistake because I was trying to...
And you've just turned every fighting move to, like, straight jab.
Right, let's
Nice.
let's start this again, sorry.
No.
Oh,
The
God,
timer's
what?
begun.
No!
No, you've not. I was only waiting, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Right, okay. Right, here we go. Okay, so... use the right stick to dodge, you use the buttons to punch and kick, and it's... like Yakuza, it's a game that is all about the beauty of punching people, and it's just
Yeah.
and the people you punch in it are just so weird. Like it's just like this weird sort of Wild West world full of tattooed freaks, and it's brilliant. I love it. And what's the name of the main guy again?
I've got no fucking clue.
Oh fuck, he's got an amazing name.
I'll
I
look it
remember
up,
that as well. Oh, here's a big fat guy coming out, and he's just falling down. Right, okay.
Is it not Mr. God Hand?
Mr. God. Right, okay, time to wrestle this guy. So how do you do the special?
Your idea, stomp him, circle.
There we go, circle.
Yes.
That's actually an even better face stomp than the one in Yakuza, I've got to admit.
Well, just because it keeps
going.
pounding.
Oh, it's one of those games where you're like, every animation's just hilarious. Like, even he's running.
Still looks
animation,
good, doesn't
look
it?
at It looks brilliant. It looks really, really nice. Oh, here's a wee guy getting beaten up. Let's save him.
Also, for anyone interested, it's currently $1.99
What?
on the PS3.
£1.99?
£1
Is that how much it
and
is?
99
Fucking hell.
pence.
I bought this, I think it was a tenner when I bought
Are you
it.
going to ask me why I bought it?
Why did you buy it? Was it for this?
$1.99.
You've already got the PS2 though, so...
I do actually. My PS2 is currently in
you
box somewhere.
You don't
so
have yours plugged in like I do. Big
I thi-
saddle that I am.
I think 3 consoles under the TV for me is enough right now.
Well, actually, I'm planning on... well, it doesn't matter. Once we move the TV around in the living room, I'm planning on having at least 6 consoles plugged in. So,
You can't play them all at once, can
well, that's the dream.
you?
Right, I've backed this guy into a wall. Oh, he's gonna get
He's
me.
winding up. Oh!
Did I dodge that, or...
It looks like, I think it hit you, but you rebounded back quite quickly, but it definitely hit you.
How did I do a special move again?
I've no idea. Oh,
Oh, there we go. Shockwave. Oh, it's a big punch through the door.
nice.
Yeah, so you charge up your God Hand and then you can do special moves now and again, and it's like a roulette where you get to select in slow motion which move you want to do, and obviously
Try to remember, because we skipped through the opening cutscene, you get the God Hand because someone rips your arm off, don't you?
I forget.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure you get your arm ripped off.
Who's this guy having a wee drink to himself? I love how it's just a big kind of weird Wild West thing, and the music is just like this endless 12-bar blues. Oh, what's this?
You've awoken a demon.
Oh shit! I forgot about these guys.
Oh, the designs are really good.
I know. Do you have to run away from these guys at first? Let's try beating them up.
Well, you might as well. We've only got 5 minutes.
I know. I love how I see the dodges you do with the right stick. It's so good. Like, a lot of people can play. A lot of people, I think, at the time, who was it? Was it IGN gave it 3 out of 10 or something? There, a big site gave it a really crap score.
There was quite
and
a lot.
It's because
of
the controls are a bit weird because it's that Resident Evil over the shoulder, rotate and walk kind of thing, and you can't move the camera, and you can only dodge, and it's a real restriction on what you can do. But I think people are sort of used to just being able to do op counter.
That was a good count.
I missed out. Get my face smashed off the floor. This is not good. Right.
Oh, will Joe survive? It looks like one punch will kill him.
Yes. Oh,
there's your demon friend.
I dodged. Do you see that?
Nice.
I like how your main guy whistles when you dodge. Oh,
Dead.
Continue. Yes.
Dead.
How long have we got?
You have 1 minute and 15 seconds.
It's one of these games. It's hard to kind of commentate on while you're playing it because there's just so much going on in it. Right, I'm back at the beginning, but I don't mind because it means I get to punch this guy.
In many ways, it's a game about punching people. So I've actually loaded it up. Let's see. IGN, yes, gave it 3 out of 10.
Fucking hell.
The scores are quite mixed though. Like looking at it, I think looks like Eurogamer was actually one of the highest with an 8 out of 10.
I think Eurogamer's got a good policy of sort of letting the right people review the right games and kind of thing. I think this is one of those games that if you don't get it the first time you play it, if you're not like a fan of this kind of game, then you're never gonna like it. It's not a game that everybody can like.
Yeah.
So that's why it does annoy me a little bit that how everybody goes on about it all the time, because it's not the kind of game that I would say to everybody you should play this game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth giving it a try.
Like
oh no! I want to play more. I'm just about to beat up some guys.
Well, that is the risk when you play 5 minutes in heaven.
I know
that you might enjoy it. you might enjoy it.
Oh, right. I need to finish that game at home.
So
I really do.
This is a PS2 classic. This, of course, is from Clover, who were one of the probably one of the best makers of games on the PS2.
Well, that's the thing. It's like Clover at the time at Capcom. Like, you think Platinum, they're made up of the sort of the ultimate talent. You know, most of them are from Clover, and Clover themselves were a sort of super group of ultimate talent. You know, you had fucking Kamiya, you had Shinji Mikami, and all these, you know, everybody who's responsible for the big Capcom games all coming together to Clover to make games that they wanted to make, and they just pumped out classic after classic after classic.
Yeah, they just pumped.
They just pumped. Classic after classic after classic. Nobody bought them. It's like nobody bought this, nobody bought Okami. I think Beautiful Joe was the biggest hit, and even then it wasn't that big.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Yeah. That was a weird one, because that came out originally. Was it GameCube first, and then it was like a year later it came out on PS2.
Yeah.
I think they made some of the best games. I mean, you look at how they look. I mean, this still holds up and looks really good.
It looks beautiful.
Beautiful Joe is amazing. Yeah. Okami, we've gone on at length about Okami, but it's the best Zelda game that's not made by Nintendo, and it's a real that's a high praise for one of the best series.
Aye, so it's one of those things. Like, it was just a shame the games never sold well. But then they didn't. Clover came about at a time when games were starting to sort of evolve into the next generation, which was like 360 and stuff at the time, and that's when games started becoming a bit more skewed towards the mainstream blockbuster style games. So you like the PS2 was a beautiful era for like folk just trying any old shit, and it did quite well. But because these were sold at the time when people were getting into Call of Duty and all that, then it wasn't really seen as.
I think God Hand's just, like I was saying, it's an amazing example of a B game.
Aye.
Games that just don't quite exist anymore. We've got indie games, and then you've got kind of bigger obviously AAA's, but there's not as many. That middle ground that used to be full of games like this, games like Blood Will Tell, just totally batshit games that probably sold to 10 people. There doesn't seem to be that meat there anymore.
I know, the PS2 is beautiful for that. I think it's a bit of a shame calling it B games though. Like I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. But what I would say is
mid tier.
No, I thought even that, because that's putting it in a level of quality. When actually what I think is games like this that think about what the game is before what the story and dressings are. Yeah. You know, whereas now you get a lot of games coming out where the first thing you hear about it is what the character is and what the story is and all that. Whereas this, it's called God Hand, it's fucking the guy that punches folk, you know? Yeah. Like that's, you know, the whole sort of mission, modus operandi, the sort of mission of it is, you know, what the game is. You know? Yeah. And the PS2 is a beautiful era for that.
Yeah, I mean, when I say I mean it in the same way that we talk about B movies. A B movie doesn't mean a bad experience. It's just that kind of like, it's not the new Transformers film, it's not like Independence Day 2 or whatever, it's this kind of lovely, like you can sit and watch it and you can be surprised by it and you can be impressed with it, but you know it's never going to be like the mainstream hit, you know.
That's a shame, because God Hand, that's
but that's what the PS2 was all about. The PS2 was this machine that pumped out like Grand Theft Autos and so many big massive games, but also had time for these brilliant wee curiosities that could just pick up almost purely based on the front cover. Yeah. The front cover of God Hand, if you know what I'm saying, the guy get punched in
through the face.
Through the face. It's amazing.
No.
It's like when I speak to like my dad about record shops, and it's like half his records he bought because he loved the cover. Yeah. And fuck, you don't get that now, do you?
No, you don't.
And there we go. That was 5 Minutes in Heaven. We didn't actually discuss how good it was compared to the last game you played.
What was the last game I played again?
The train game.
Oh, it's much better than the train game. The train game's got its own special place in my heart, but it is better than the train games.
There we go. So God Hand, the best game you've played for 5 minutes this year.
Definitely.
I'll write that down. Right, Joe.
Yeah.
The PS2. Mm-hmm. We tend not to think of the internet being round as much when the PS2 was kicking about.
No, not really. Not really.
However, did you know that Meta-critic has PS2 reviews on it?
Honestly?
Yes.
Right.
We have a feature at Bitsoka that I like to call Meta-crock of shit. It's when I look at some of the classics that have been released, but do I peruse the professional reviews, the paid-for reviews? Let's be honest now. The corrupt reviews.
The corrupt reviews.
No. I want to hear what the man in the street has to say.
The honest man.
The honest man. I was going to say or women, but
let's be honest, they're all men.
Well, all their usernames are actually male names, so...
Okay. The honest men in the street.
The honest men. Right.
Those keyboard warriors.
Okay. So, what I do is I'm going to read out some user reviews, and Joe, you've got to tell me What classic game are they talking about?
I had to tell you the scores as well because I'm terrible at that.
That's the best bit. Okay, you ready for this?
Cool.
Is that in Space Jam as well?
I think so.
Are we talking a lot about Space Jam?
Jam,
Bitsocket Space Jam special. That sounds like a sexual position.
I watched Space Jam at Christmas actually because I remember. I was like, well, it was never good. It looks beautiful, but
it was never good.
It was never good. I mean, it's a beautiful looking film, but it's not a very good film. But did I tell you it used to? Well, here's me bearing my soul again in the podcast. But
are you going to say you get a pinger?
Well, no, I get the opposite. I get nightmares.
An anti-pinger?
An anti-pinger.
Any?
I get nightmares. They gave me nightmares.
What about it?
Because do you remember Space Jam? I remember the end. How he wins the last point
with his arm going.
Oh, that big stretchy arm, like it terrified me when I was wee. Like,
did Mr. Tickle from the Mr. Men make you feel weird?
No, it wasn't that. It was the thought of it happening to me. It was the thought of my arm just growing like that big long thing, and just it terrified me, and it gave me like really weird body horror nightmares. So.
Nice. Okay. So anyway, the podcast. Right, you ready? Okay. So this review is from the Epic Ninja. This game is the king of first-person shooters, and it still is. The game may look repetitive, but the hours of gameplay will make it worthwhile. This game makes you imagine your type of action and relieve it your way. This game is truly the pinnacle of shooter.
First-person shooter on the PlayStation 2? I can think of like Black and oh fuck, it's not like Agent Under Fire or something like that. One of the James Bond.
Is that your guess?
Oh fuck, I know it's going to. Right, I'm going to say fucking Nightfire, 007 Nightfire.
Time Splitters 2.
Of course.
Time Splitters 2, the classic.
Of course. How did I forget about Time Splitters 2?
So I would say that was quite a positive.
I fucking love that game.
So what score do you think that's got?
Oh,
so
is it out of 10?
Yes, out of 10.
That's a 9 out of 10.
Is it? 0.
What? Did he forget to put his score in or something?
My guess is that they chose the wrong score.
Yeah,
but it made me laugh really hard to be like, oh, it's a really good game. It's brilliant, you'll love it. It's the pinnacle. 0. It's the best first-person shooter. 0.
Time Splitters 2, of course. Oh man, that game.
Love that game.
I love that game so
Still
much.
Probably my favourite multiplayer shooter game.
Do you remember we made a level in it and we made it with like the biggest room you could get on the memory of it? It was too big because we filled it with bullets, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
And every time Chris would always go the wee monkey.
I fucking hated the monkey.
I hated Chris.
There was one smaller though. It was like it was like a robot with a goldfish.
Yeah.
That was smaller. That was banned. Anyway, next up we have a review from Josh B.
Josh B.
So it actually marks this beginning with spoilers, which is weird because I don't think the review actually contains any. Concept, graphics and overall length of gameplay are incredible. Where the game falls short, as posted by another reviewer, is a strange plot twist not even halfway through the game, where you think you have beaten the game, but no, you're nowhere close. The problem is, at no other point in the game do you get this feeling of accomplishment by ganning new brush techniques and by finding and conquering new lands. Pacing is very much off and makes the latter parts of the game very repetitive and frankly pointless.
Finding and conquering new lands. Is that like so? It's like a strategy game kind of thing.
No.
Finding and conquering new lands. Twist halfway through.
Yeah.
Fucking
Think
hell.
about it.
I know. Is it Metal Gear Solid 2?
No, it was a Kami, so you didn't know.
What?
How many other games where do you gain new brush techniques?
I didn't hear you say brush techniques. I was too busy laughing at the word Ganon. Oh, if I heard you say that when I got it in like the first.
No, it is Metal Gear Solid.
Well, I thought, because I've just like, the big plot twist of
no.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and shy after
Joe,
that. What?
Tough titties.
Can I take it back?
No, you cannot.
Say brush techniques again.
And what score do you think that review has? Again, quite positive.
6, I'm going to say.
Close. 7.
7?
7.
Okay.
Which I think, as far as I can tell, it's the highest user review
we've ever
rating I've ever read out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all downhill from
I can't believe I didn't hear brush techniques.
I know.
I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to laugh anymore.
You with your perfect ears.
I know. Hey, I'm the one with the earphones in, yeah.
Next up, we've got this from Henry M.
Wait a minute. Is that my old dad?
Actually, I don't know everybody like that game. It's way too hard. It's the hardest game I ever played. The graphics, it's not that good. I would give it 7 because I don't like realistic graphics. and the music is annoying. The game is also too brutal. I almost cried when I saw so much blood. What games would make you cry because you saw so much blood? PS2, remember PS2 games?
PS2 games.
Shouldn't have to remind you, but
I know. PS2 games are a lot of blood. Well, what is it? Devil May Cry, Resident Evil. What else is there?
You can't really win this by naming every game.
I know.
The next answer has to be your definitive answer.
Blood Will Tell.
God of War.
Of course, God of War.
Okay, now remember, during this, Henry M does say he would give the game a 7.
Okay.
What score does he give it?
7 out of 10.
3.
I would give it a 7.
I would give it a 7.
But,
3 is closer. Next up, Daniel. The game has...
I was going to say, hello, Daniel.
Hello, Daniel. Hi, Daniel. The game has excellent graphics, but it lacks any sense of a good storyline. The enemies you encounter are few, and their AI is somewhat low. In brackets, meaning they are really stupid. Same with bosses. Just figure out their fighting pattern, and you got them. Many people are easily swayed to like this game due to the graphics. However, as you progress through the game, it can get a little old. Suggest renting first, since the game is relatively short. I rented it and beat it in 4 days, and I was not playing it non-stop either. The game just did not fill my expectations. So, short game, bad story, stupid AI,
Stupid.
fighting pattern.
Is that Metal Gear Solid 2?
Fucking no. Fucking no.
What is it?
Devil May Cry.
Oh, fucking hell.
Devil May Cry.
I said not that many enemies. Devil May Cry's full of enemies.
Joe, what? Talk to Daniel back in February 18th, 2003, because it's got nothing to do with me. Scott, can you correct that error that he made?
Devil May Cry. That's that's one of my favourite PS2 games. That was the game that sold the PS2 to me.
Right. And what score do you think Daniel would have given that game? That killer app.
After that review, 4.
Well done.
Way.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing I've ever
You don't get
gotten
a
right.
point for it, but that's the first thing you've got right so far.
What was the game that sold the PS2 to you?
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Of course it was. Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 1. Devil May Cry 2, not Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 1 was definitely the one that sold it to me.
I think. No, GTA 3 was probably my PS2 seller.
Yeah.
My PS3 seller was Metal Gear Solid 4.
Of course.
Because you had to fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Right, last one. Let's see, can you bring it back?
I know.
Can you bring it back and get one right?
Terrible at this.
One right.
I'm terrible at this.
Okay, this is from Kyle B. The game made to deter people from the PlayStation 2. This game could quite possibly be the worst game I've ever played. I've played some very bad games. The very plot of the game is both pathetic and illy prepared.
Pathetic. Illy prepared?
Illy.
Illy.
I think it's meant to be... I don't fucking know.
Illy.
I know. The story of revenge has gotten to be one of the lamest and most predictable, with a very lame plot twists. The sole fact that the game is based on lust and illegal activities, the game has got to be one of the worst looking games ever on the PS2, save for Rune. Kyle, you fuck Rune, eh? The game's only saving grace is the freedom of action, which will be brought to a sudden end because of the swift justice brought forth from the police force. The weapons.
What's even right here?
The weapons are both uninteresting and leave a lot more to the imagination. This game should not be bought, possibly only to be rented, but only on a cheap night. Does it mean a cheap night? Is that like a cheap date?
I don't know. Cheap date with yourself.
Cheap date. What do you want? A KFC mega bucket?
I think that's Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, that's GTA 3.
Ah!
I'm not going to give it to you. Because I'm a hard taskmaster. But you were close. Right, so what score do you think? Now remember, this is...
the worst game ever.
This is uninteresting. In fact, that's not what he's written. He's written uninteresting.
Interesting. The game to deter people from buying the PS2. It has to be a 1 out of 10.
It leaves a lot to the imagination.
Oh my god. Well, 1 out of 10.
0.
A 0.
Kyle B.
Close enough.
Do you know...
Fucking hell. Imagine...
Actually... Can I recommend something?
Right.
Go into the user reviews for GTA 3. If you ever get a chance on Meta-critic. Because there is one guy who is maintaining that there's a fourth island where there's a blacksmith. there's people arguing with him, being like,
sword.
"There's not a fucking blacksmith," and the guy's replies like, "No, whatever. There is a blacksmith. You sell him items, and he only gives you a quarter of their value."
That's amazing.
I was like, "That's brilliant." Back in the early days of the internet, when you could just fucking lie.
I know.
It's like the equivalent of going into school and being like, "Oh, my dad's Hulk Hogan."
It's like, I know, I did get the Triforce knocking in that time. You have to fight Dartlink 5 times.
Aye, exactly.
See if you go around your house, he's waiting for you.
in your house.
That's so good.
So, what do you think?
Ah, that's good.
That's probably the worst you've ever performed.
I know.
That's like me doing one of your quizzes.
I know. That's pretty bad. just thinking of it. The boss graphics, even worse
than Rune. I know, exactly. It's like, I want to find this guy's review of Rune.
That actually reminded me, I was talking to Kim about, because I told her we were doing a PS2 special, and so I was like, what PS2 games do you play? And for her it was DDR, like her favourite games, DDR, and Tony Hawk as well. But her dad apparently used to play Eternal Ring.
Really?
Like the worst RPG. Like it was like the launch, one of the launch.
Yeah,
games.
I remember the front cover. It was that kind of weird cover with the guy like, holding the ring.
Because you get it traded in like every 5 minutes at the game shop.
Game.
Aye. But he played it non-stop apparently. Like, absolutely loved
Still playing it now.
He just made the most of what he had because he didn't realise he could just buy better games.
Well, it's like, you know how like our ancestors used to just play with coal and pitch shit? Something like that, isn't it?
Oh god. Anyway, that was good. A somewhat regular feature here at BitSocket that we like to do is surprise each other with a wee shotgun top 5 where we have to think up a top 5 at a moment's notice. Scott, since PS2 special. Top 5 most beautiful looking PS2 games.
Most beautiful.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
games that look beautiful and are with a timeless look.
Okay. Well, we say it a lot. Okami.
Okami, yes.
Okami's there.
Yeah.
Gorgeous looking graphics, lovely cel shaded, beautiful. Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, you putting that above too? Okay.
I just think it looks brilliant.
It does look amazing.
There's probably like the last boss fight, for example, is one of those bits that's just it's
the
iconic
flower fields and all that.
to look
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, that's definitely up there. Don't get me wrong, Metal Gear Solid 2, I love how defined everything is. I know it sounds like a weird thing, but I love the edges and things like that. But Metal Gear Solid 3 for me just pips it.
Aye, good choice.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, well, see, a lot of people complain about that game because it's sort of, you know, the frame rate's so bad and all that, but it does look incredible. You can't get over how beautifully designed it is, and it just, so atmospheric.
Yeah. Now, controversial choice here.
Oh, here we go.
Vice City.
Oh.
Right, now,
go on, explain yourself.
Right, now, the Grand Theft Auto games have never been, well, up until 4 and 5, haven't been what you would say great looking games. At the time they were great fun.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of jaggy and all that chat. Vice City though, there's points when you're playing that, like say you're on a motorcycle, you're driving over a bridge and it's at sunset.
Yeah.
And everything's like
you're
orange
right.
and red.
You're right, yeah,
and it's moments like that are absolutely astounding.
Were you one of those folk that turned the trails off?
No, you have to have
trails on. Everybody was like, I turn it off, it plays better, but that's not the point.
Say like riding, like what was the name of the really fast bike? Was it the
PCG 600 or something like that, yeah.
Riding that bike like at night, the music and the sunset. It was just one of those things you're like, this is astounding.
Yeah.
But I get how like a lot of the time, the game is not a good looking game. But those moments are just, I think those bits mean more to me than any GTA. I'm okay.
You having a wee moment yourself here now as well.
Wee chug. Let's think. So that's 4.
That's 4. So your fifth one then.
I'm doing quite well.
Good choices so far.
So I'm trying to think of something else.
Well explained.
Thank you. So another game that's got a kind of timeless beauty. PS2 isn't really known for its timeless beauty.
Yes.
I'm trying to think now. I've kind of used up my good ones because games like Okami were quite rare. I mean, you had things like obviously like Beautiful Joe as well, but I feel it's a bit like cheating because they're both from the same studio.
And Beautiful Joe was a GameCube game first. So.
It was, that's true. And the GameCube did colours better.
I remember reading that somewhere.
That was the argument you would use, like,
that's colours better.
The colours are so much better on the GameCube. The blacks are so black.
Fucking hell. You wouldn't get Mario's hat on the PS2.
Do you know what? Right. A wee fighting game.
Oh.
Guilty Gear.
Oh, yes, good choice.
Guilty Gear still on the PS2 looks amazing.
It's a beautiful looking game.
It's one of those games that just, I mean, the most recent one looks amazing too.
Yeah.
But by then it was just one of those, like the animation was astounding on it.
The 2D art in it is just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really...
And I properly gave myself a blister. One of the first times we played it, just doing
I remember
quarter
that
circles.
night. Aye.
And I was like, we played it for, it must have been a good 2 hours straight. And
Yeah.
it was like, I looked at my thumb and I was like, that's a blister.
That's
a proper gaming blister, which I've never had playing any other game, just Guilty Gear. So in terms of order, Okami is first. Then I'd say Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
I'd say Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Then
Shadow of the Colossus.
Then
Vice City.
Vice City. I mean, Vice City is an emotional favourite.
I
It's
know.
not-
You explained yourself well. I can get it. I get it.
Thanks, Darren.
I get it. I get it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Are you ready for your shotgun?
Right, go on, hit me.
Right, you ready?
Shoot me.
Shoot you. Right,
Take me at the back and shoot
best
me.
franchises that started on PS2. By
Oh.
franchise, it needs to be... I'll be lenient, at least 2 games.
Okay, no, well, okay.
I think a franchise
There's
about...
2 obvious choices for me here.
Okay.
We get I can just think of the top. Devil May Cry,
Okay.
the game that sold the PlayStation 2 to me.
Good choice.
Yakuza, which has become like my favourite series ever. Wait, I suppose the Ico isn't really a series, is it? So it's not really a franchise. It's just a sort of collection of games.
Thematic.
Nah, yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't really count. What other ones are there? Enter the Matrix. No,
I don't like that count. Well, I suppose...
what other franchises started in the PS2 that
You tell me.
I'm not thinking of? Because there's loads of them, but I just can't think right now.
Any fighting games that started on PS2? Racing games?
See, that's the thing. Racing games,
Shootan games?
technically the first initial D game that of that series, because Sega sort of took over and then started making them.
Yeah.
And PS2 was the first one.
So would you say that's the
That's
beginning
like
of that
because that's
franchise?
one of my favourite racing games is Initial D.
Well, if you
So
count
there we
it,
go, and
that's
there's
fine.
one in the PlayStation 2, PSP, PS3, and all over the arcades.
I've done a PS4 one yet.
Not yet, and it kills me every day. So Initial D, I know it's a bit of a cheap one because
No,
not many folk
I'll
play
accept it. You know what?
Right.
I'll let it happen.
You'll let it happen. Oh, okay, good boy. Oh, fucking, what do you call it?
Oh, aye, that's fine. Okay, so your last one.
What's that RPG series? Like, fucking Xenosaga. Well, no, I suppose technically Xeno is part of the Xeno
Gears.
franchise.
Well, the Xeno
which started with
franchise,
Xeno
yeah.
Gears, the PS1. Alright, okay, fine. I know. Let myself down there.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Was there another RPG series started on PS2?
There's a few, but I've not.
I'm doing this as if I'm trying to goad you into an answer, but I don't know.
You don't know what it is. Yeah, no, Xenosaga was the one I was thinking of because
I've really shotgunned you here.
You
I'm
have
surprised. I'm actually surprised you've been so shotgunned.
you have shotgun me. I suppose the PS2. What was good about the PS2 is that it wasn't really the series. It was the it was the sort of what's the word? It was the wee one-offs that were the big ones. For
Yeah,
me.
that's true.
Oh, fucking Time Splitters. There's 3 Time Splitters games. There we go.
There we go.
Although
Good choice.
not been a Time Splitters game or anything else since
there's,
then.
there's always that. There's continually rumours about
I know.
an HD version of 2, and
Aye, it's not going to happen, though, is it?
I would really like to hope it would, because I love them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's been so long since I've played a Time Splitters game that there's always a bit of a worry that has time made it this amazing game.
No, we'll see. Even if they just released it as a PS2 classic, I would play it. Like that's what they should do. Just release it as PS2 classic, and then
Yeah.
don't change it in any way. 'Cause it doesn't need change really.
As long as I can play it in multiplayer.
That's all.
I
Aye,
need.
because you don't even want to play online. Just play it with pals. That's the way it's
Yeah.
meant to be played, kind of thing.
So I've had a wee look just while I've been talking. There's a
Alright.
couple actually that are sticking out for me, but the ones that I've played. But there's also one fairly big game.
In my life,
I'd say so actually, yeah, because it's made by one of your favourite. In fact, I've found a few now that's actually like, shit, I can't believe Joe's not said that.
so that's like my mind just goes blank with these things sometimes.
Would you like some clues?
Go on, give me a clue.
Okay.
Right.
So, it's one of the few other series that one of your favourite game makers has been involved in recent years.
Oh, of course. Zone of the Enders.
Yep.
Ah,
Started
yeah,
on PS2.
yeah, and it finished from PS2. Well, I suppose it's been Game Boy Advance as well. So,
Yep.
and DVDs. I know, I love Zone of the Enders. Beautiful games.
So there we go. So that's so far you've got.
Controversially, I prefer the first one to the second one, but that's just me. I like how short.
I really like how short it is,
Yeah.
but the second one is really
Yeah.
good. So far you've got Zone of the Enders,
Yeah.
Yakuza,
Devil May Cry, Initial
and
D.
Initial D.
So one more.
One more.
Mm.
So there are games on it, for example, that I've played,
Yeah.
but I know you've not. So I don't know how you'd feel about that. Although there is one game series you've played at least the first 2, and the fighting game equivalent.
I know the one you're talking about.
What's that?
And it's a shame it's not been updated because Onimusha is one of my. It was one of my favourite PS2 games. I've got the whole. Well, I don't have Onimusha 4, but I've got the 3 main ones. And,
Yeah. Have you played the third one? Yeah.
Yeah, I've not completed it.
Oh, right.
Because it's fucking hard. But 1 and 2, I love 1 and 2 so much.
That's funny because the only one I've completed is
It's
3.
3, I know. I get stuck at a boss. you fight it in. I think you fight it in Paris, and it's like outside in a car park or something, and it's really fucking hard. But Onimusha, so good. And it's a shame it's nothing's came of it, because there's sort of spiritual successors to it. You get Genji was good. No, the first one was good.
Oh, the first game, that was the other thing I was going to say, because the first Genji game, because we rented it, because I was back when I worked in a Blockbuster, we rented it, and it was astounding.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. In fact, that was probably one of the other games that I've chosen for like amazing looking games. It looked brilliant.
The
counter system was just amazing. And then I got the second one when I got my PS3, and I played it, and I was like, Joe, that's a piece of shit. And you're like, no, it can't be. And it was so bad. It was like they took everything great from the first one and just stripped it out.
I know.
It's like, right, this just looks like the first game. It was dreadful.
I love that game. I'm really looking forward to the new, was it Neo? Or
Nio. That looks really good.
It's
like Dark Souls
Onimusha. I think we've talked about it before, but yeah.
So there's a few other franchises you could have gone for. There's Sly Cooper.
See, I've never really played it that much, but then Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, all that. I mean, I was never into those games.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can see that they are good, but I was never really into them that much.
The first Ratchet and Clank for the PS3 was Tools of Destruction. It's genuinely amazing.
It is good. Okay, so the thing about PS2 series,
right?
A lot of the games that because Devil May Cry obviously started in the PS2, but games like Ridge Racer and Dead or Alive and like Time Crisis and all these are like really good. In fact, a lot of Namco like arcade games. A lot of Namco, a lot of arcade games and stuff. The series didn't start in the PS2; they started in the PS1. The PS2 is where they really found their feet for me.
Well, look at Metal Gear. Like Metal Gear 1 and 2, then Metal Gear Solid came out. I think it was probably 2 and 3 that's when it became. Because Metal Gear Solid 1 was a massive game, there's no doubt about that. But I think
2 was a huge
when you talk to people and they talk about their favourites, 2 and 3 are quite high up. I think 3 maybe more than 2 for some people. But I remember the first time I played 3, and my mind was, I was like, I could not believe how big the game felt. Although it wasn't. It gave you that amazing illusion of space, but the game guided you so well through it. Oh, I'm going to play it again.
I know. Earlier on we mentioned this, but we're going to bring back a painful memory for you, Scott. Do you remember the game that you saved up a lot of money for and traded in a lot of games for because you were dying to play it one day, and I served you that game when I was working behind the Telic Game Centre? What game was it?
Shinobi.
And what happened the very next week?
You got a free copy.
I got a free copy. And what happened to you then?
I killed myself.
You never completed the game, did you? You were that...
I got quite far, but no, I didn't.
You were that disgusted.
I was.
Yeah.
The corruption.
But Shinobi does hold a special place in my heart. It's a good PS2. In fact, it's a cracking PS2 game. I absolutely love it. Part of a cracking series.
Oh.
And you know what we like to do with cracking series here at BitSocket? We like to play Is It Canon?
Oh.
Yeah. So we're going to play Shinobi Is It Canon. We're going to go through the Shinobi series. And as always, if it's appeared anywhere in the various lore of...
Give us some examples.
You know, if it's been in a book.
Or?
If it's been in a cartoon.
Or
a t-shirt.
Yeah. The famous Shinobi t-shirt.
Right. So Shinobi, there's quite a lot of Shinobi games actually, more than I remember being anyway. So first up, localization here.
Okay.
In one of the Shinobi games, the evil group you've got to take down is called Asia Down. They changed this name to Union Lizard. Is it canon?
Union Lizard. Yes, you know what, I want to believe.
Yep, it's true.
Isn't Union Lizard, is that not the name of the group that rule the royal family?
I know, Union Lizard. But David Icke obviously had a wee bit of
David Icke did the localisation.
Okay, is it canon? Shinobi has killed Mario.
That's a weird one.
I'm cheating a wee bit here actually. But
yes, okay then, canon.
It's true, it's canon. And Alex Kidd in Shinobi World.
Alex the Kid?
No, Alex Kidd. Alex Kidd as Shinobi. One of the bosses is Mario.
Really?
Yeah, he looks like Mario and everything. And they changed his name to Keno, but actually it's Mario.
Wow.
And he does pastiches of Mario moves. And
that's quite cool.
There's a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Shinobi. Well, Joe Musashi gives the turtles into bother for eating pizza. Is it canon?
Went to bother for eating pizza?
Aye, no, it's bad for ninjas.
It's not canon.
You're right, that's not canon.
Pizza's good for everybody.
I mean, there are a lot of crossovers in Shinobi, but
yeah,
there is. That's not canon.
I'm 3 for 3.
Yeah.
I am Shinobi King.
The original Shinobi,
yes,
that's Joe Musashi, cool name there, is a master of disguise. His master plan to take down the evil Zed is to hang about outside their headquarters selling newspapers. Is it canon?
So his evil plan is to hang outside the headquarters and sell newspapers?
Yeah.
Yes, canon.
You're right, it's canon. It's canon.
This is good. I can't believe it. 4 for 4. Can I do it? Can I become the Shinobi King?
Okay, here we go. Which of these is not canon? Right, so these are going to be bosses. These are Shinobi bosses. Okay. So the main guy from Shinobi is called Joe Musashi, right? Okay. So the first one's called No Musashi, NOH, as in like no theatre, No Musashi. Spider-Man, Batman, Hydra the body weapon.
I just liked it.
Or Robster. Who's a lobster?
What was that last one again?
Robster. He's a lobster. An actual lobster. It's just a big lobster.
So which one is it?
So it's No Musashi, Spider-Man, Batman, Hydra the body weapon, or Robster the lobster.
I'm going to go for Hydra the body weapon.
No, it's canon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which one?
No Musashi.
Really? That was my setup. It was between those two. Because I know Spider-Man and Batman are in Strider game. Well, characters called Spider-Man and Batman.
In Strider? Shinobi?
Oh, fucking Shinobi, sorry.
Yeah, you fight Spider-Man. Yeah. And you in an early version of Shinobi 2, you fought Batman as well, but they had to change it, obviously. But in Spider-Man, they actually licensed Spider-Man for it, but then in later re-releases, they didn't have the license anymore, so they made him pink.
Pink Spider-Man?
Pink Spider-Man. Nice. So yeah, you actually fight Spider-Man.
I can't believe how close I came to getting 5 for 5. But you know what? 4 out of 5, I can live with that.
Hydra the body weapon's a fucking hard boss, man. But yeah. Well, we're done. That was 4 out of 5. That's the best you've done.
I think I might call my first child Hydra the body weapon.
I really want to play Shinobi again. There's a video to be made of good underappreciated ninja games like Shinobi.
That was quite a lot. Yeah. Like ninja games are one of see, growing up, I always wanted to get into the what was the assassin ones called?
Tenshu.
Yeah, they always looked amazing, but then I just never bothered playing them.
Yeah.
Because I knew I'd be shit at them.
I like all things. Okay, now it's time when I get to say the phrase that I coined. Get to say a bit. Yeah. Actually, I didn't coin that, did I?
No, not really. No.
But you know what? So well this time, because we said we're doing a PS2 special, we asked you for your PlayStation 2 memories. So we'll do the usual. I'll go through some Facebook ones first. Harrison Hunt. The only game I ever bought based only on looking at the box was Way of the Samurai for PS2. This crappy music shop in my crappy town was shutting down and the game was half price. I'd never heard of it before, and now it's one of my favourite series of all time. That's a good choice. I've got a lot of respect for Way of the Samurai and all those. They're not that good, but they are.
What was the one I really was it?
Sort of. Is it
Kengo?
Oh, Kengo was good.
Kengo was good.
That was the sequel, sort of spiritual successor to Bushido Blade.
It was so hard.
I know.
Like you'd spend like an hour getting to the point where you could buy a fucking sword, and then you'd die in the first fight. It was absolutely unreal.
It's a lot of really good samurai games. Remember Blood Bowl Tale? I mentioned it earlier, but that was.
I still maintain Blood Bowl Tale is one of my favourite PS2 games.
Elliot Cross, blitzing through Kingdom Hearts 2 over the Christmas break many years ago. The last few boss fights, especially the giant mechanical dragon, took me ages as a kid. Actually, Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a boss in that right near the end where like if you fight it and then there's one like split second quick time event, and if you miss it, that's it. That's it. Back to the beginning.
Bullshit.
I know, it's really. But it's a good game. It's a good game. You should play it. You've got them all. You know, yeah. Lee Sparks, bad memory. I remember getting Orphaned Scion of Sorcery as a launch title and trading it into...
First thing I thought you said, I remember getting Orphaned.
Orphaned, I know. Fuck. As a launch title and trading it into game a week later. They gave me £12 for it and put it on the shelf for $39.99. Good memory. Playing Time Splitters split screen with mates on a weekend.
Yeah.
Luke Summerhaze. I never owned a non-Nintendo machine between my dad's PS1 and getting a PS3 right before the PS4 to catch up on stuff I missed. That said, I borrowed my buddy's PS2 for a weekend. Oh dear. To play 24, the game.
Isn't that your favourite game?
I've never played it, but I love the TV series. You know.
We know.
It was smashing, shooting the terrorists, driving a van, interrogating lads. I'm happy to say I had the full PS2 experience. I need to play that game. Craig Hamilton, I still use my PS2 for all the magical guff you find in charity shops. Well, you still do.
That's good. Yeah, you do. You do pick up a wee bargain every so often.
Phil Doyle, when the PS2 was released, I had a Dreamcast, so I didn't bother getting one. You missed out a wee bit, but fair play. When I did a couple of years later...
Missed out a wee bit?
I know. I then sold it a couple of months later to buy a new release GameCube with Super Monkey Ball. I have no regrets.
Really?
Well, you can get Monkey Ball for PS2.
Actually, there was one night when we were younger, we would have like
games nights.
We didn't have that many, but it was like must have been about 8 or 9 of us round your mum's. And it was like we'd have stacks and stacks of games. Like, we'll play all this. Yeah. One time, all we played was Mashed.
Mashed, aye.
Which actually we didn't mention earlier. Mashed is one of the best Mario Kart-esque games.
So good.
Absolutely love it.
Aye.
I'd love just put it on my PlayStation. Yeah. That's what I want. Mashed, and the other night was Super Monkey Ball. Again, and it was just that one mode.
Monkey tennis, monkey football, and there was the monkey flying one where you drop in the target.
We played that for hours.
I know.
And but we'd have stacks of games and we'd play 2 games all night.
Luke Russell, playing through the entirety of Jack 2. That's the one where Jack goes dark.
Dark Jack.
Dark Jack. That's the one, they had the poster for it. They would go into the game shop, into Game Centre. Mm-hmm. And there was like half of his face, it was normal, and half of his face was like these sort of alter ego. It's like, now this time he has a dark side, ... and a darker side. It was so bad.
So good.
Anyway, sorry, Luke. Such a great game. Also, honourable mention goes to Time Splitters 2 and War of the Monsters. No, I actually play War of the Monsters. Now we're just waiting for the Time Splitters to come to PlayStation 4. Yeah,
we're waiting.
David John Bruce, staying up till 3 AM to finish GTA 3 because you didn't have a memory card.
Yes.
Imagine doing that. Like, I can understand playing through like shorter games.
I think I've said before, when I first got my PlayStation 2 and GTA 3, I didn't have a memory card. So by the time I got a memory card, I was able to complete the first island in like an hour.
I know, you thought the first island was like the only one in the game.
Yeah.
I know, you never saw the fourth island with the blacksmith. Gary Hawkins, so very many memories. But the one that sticks out most in my mind is playing Tekken Tag Tournament for the very first time. Not only was it a great game, but it was the quintessential early, this is what the PS2 can do game. It looks like shit now, but it was insane back then. Oh, and experiencing DVDs for the first time too. Only Fools and Horses Series 3 was the first one I ever owned. What was your first DVD?
Blade 2.
Oh, Blade 2. Mine was Three Kings.
I think it was Blade 1 and 2, because they did this thing where if you went to Blockbuster and rented Blade 2, you could buy Blade 1 for like $3.99. I was like, Mum, Dad, we need to do that. I wasn't even that bothered by Blade, it's just the idea of owning something.
I never told you about like when I found out I was getting a PS2, because I found out before Christmas. Yeah. Because it was hidden. And I found it. And I found the games that were coming with it, and I couldn't help but be a little bit disappointed.
What were they?
Because like it was my dad obviously went out and got like the first deal he found.
Yeah.
So, the cheapest, like, that'll do. Right? Because he wanted a DVD player and he was like, I'm going to get a PS2. And the games were Dave Mirra BMX2.
Classic.
Crazy Taxi.
Didn't you
I had a Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Right, I had a fucking Dreamcast. Fucking Rayman M. The multiplayer,
that's so good.
The Mad Dash multiplayer racing game from the
How many pads did you get?
Rayman 1 and Rayman 2. I get one pad. And a copy of Three Kings on DVD. So,
well, Three Kings is a good film.
I know,
but the rest of those games.
Right. My mum also bought the age-appropriate DVDs of Shrek and Snow White.
Nice.
Like, no, Three Kings is too. It's a 15. I watched it anyway.
Fuck you, Mum.
I know. Fuck you, Mum. On Three Kings.
I'm going to watch Three Kings and I'm going to drink non-diet iron brew.
No. Fuck you, Mum.
It's your mum talking to the priest. He's like, he's possessed. He's not my Joe.
Lewis Parks.
It's like your act of rebellion watching Three Kings.
I know. Lewis Parks. Had a lot of fun on Time Splitters 2 and GTA San Andreas, but my favourite game on the PS2 was Final Fantasy X. Easy to pick up and get into, and the music is amazing. I wouldn't go that far. As it has everything Final Fantasy game, as it is in everything Final Fantasy, and has the most memorable laugh scene in a game. Oh God. The music is better in the HD version. I'm putting it out there.
Talking about PS2 memories and your mum.
Right.
How did you used to hide your copies of?
Oh fucking because I bought Vice City in the game. Well, no, I got the Getaway for Christmas the next year, but I bought Vice City in GTA 3 from the shop. And but I took the covers off them and hid them under a big pile of games. So that, you know, if ever, I don't know why I would ever think the mom would come in and root through my games kind of thing, but just in case, I thought, oh, that blank game won't be suspect at all, will it? Like, all the rest of them have labels, but that one blank game, they won't bat an eyelid at that, so I don't know why I thought about that.
So funny.
I know.
Oh, right, okay, so...
I think I used to put the disc in upside down as well. Like, just in case you opened the... It's like, alright, that's one of those double-sided PlayStation 2 games.
You put the disc upside down and then just write on the disc, fuck you, Mom. Oh my. Right, okay. Oh, well, let's go into Twitter now.
Yeah.
Up first, we've got Jim at Let's Hug Bro, who first sends a picture, actually. It's a picture of the please insert a PlayStation or PlayStation 2 format disc. A very sad screen for anyone.
Especially see when you put in a PlayStation or PlayStation 2 format disc and that came up, you're like,
heartbreaking.
fuck.
Heartbreaking. It also says he got his first exposure to Net. How do you say that? Net Eurosi?
Oh, Net Eurosi, yeah.
Net Eurosi demo discs on the PS2, as was an N64 owner in the prior gen.
I never even realised that they were on the PS2. I suppose you could play the PS1 games on the PS1 one. I never thought there was Net Eurosi games on the PS2.
There we go.
Aye.
Your mind has been blown.
Have you played the Net Eurosi games?
No.
Right. You know what they are?
No.
Right. It's just like they're little like home coded, you know, little indie games, but like super, you know, indie, made by little, you know, like not even teams, just one guy in his bedroom making a game. But they used to bring out like collections of them on the front of magazines. But one of them, it was like an adventure game where you like there's like it's like kind of the world's made of cubes kind of thing. It's a bit like Minecraft. Yeah, it looks like Minecraft, but years and years ago. But they brought it out in the iPhone recently. I forget its name, but I've got it and I forget its fucking name. But
good.
But there was a football game which I remember thinking this is like the best football game ever because the ball didn't stick to your feet. You had to actually sort of push the ball the way you want to go. So sort of, I was like, it's like real dribbling. And all my pals were like, no, let's just play FIFA.
Andy Parsons at Andy6010, picking up a small one with GTA. I think he means a slimline.
Oh, right.
Picking up a small one with GTA San Andreas on launch night. For some reason, I pretended I'd been mugged for it on the way home to my girlfriend. She was furious, unsurprisingly. Not sure why I thought it'd be funny. San Andreas was pretty sweet, though. I think like the PS1 and PS2 were the first consoles that I was ever aware of that changed. Like, you know, like the PSX.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was the PS1.
It's the PS1, yeah. There was the PSX as well. Do you remember the PSX?
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it never came out here. But you remember the pictures of it? It was the PlayStation 2 that could write DVDs.
Yeah.
And it was this beautiful white box with a glowing disc. Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah. And then there was the slimline PS2 and things like that. It was pretty cool, actually. I'd never owned a slimline. You did though, didn't you? But you still do, actually.
In fact, it's something that's great for playing import games. So.
Oh, wow.
Just in case you can hear that in the background, that's like Scotland's weather saying hello.
Yeah, it's like snowing. That's nice. At Sonic Yoda says, got mine from Comets with Comets? Was it Comets?
Comet.
Got mine from Comets with a copy of Salt Lake 02, Lotus Challenge, and Deep Blue Sea on DVD.
Fucking hell.
Probably the most mediocre bundle ever. I was going to say, actually, that rivals...
That's worse than mine.
I was going to say, that must have been bundle
number 2. 3 Kings. Fuck you, Mum.
I think, he says, the only thing he didn't trade in was Deep Blue Sea. I've still got it. It's probably because DVDs are worth nothing. Dave Ballmer at Demon Tomato Dave says, gripping my Dreamcast VMU in a clenched fist, scowling and scoffing to pals on the Sonic mailing list about how PlayStation was doomed. And he says he's still never played on one.
What? Really? You're missing out.
Still never played.
You're actually missing out, Dave.
That makes me feel... I don't know how I feel about that.
I know. That's like missing out on fucking...
It's a bit like having a black and white telly.
It's a bit like having a black... Aye.
Slippers Ex Machina at Mega Slippers says, James Bond Nightfire, Burnout 3 Takedown,
I knew it had
and that Lord of the Rings 2 Towers game, months, if not years of entertainment for family and friends. He says it's probably his favourite era for games.
Mine too.
Not wrong there.
Mine too.
Not wrong there. Jack Kempster at Bird Wrong, playing Final Fantasy 12, nearing the end, and Mum catches the controller wire with the Hoover. PS2 hits the floor and dies. After 6 months, I got a new PS2 for Christmas and finally continued my playthrough. It was magic. 6 months.
That's a happy ending to that story, at least. Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's quite a robust console, the PS2, though.
I know.
Like, it was really...
I dropped mine once.
Aidan O'Donnell.
Hey, you know what the most robust console is?
Lay it on me.
Right.
It's not the fucking Dreamcast.
It's not the... I can breathe on that. Even the boxes. Yeah. N64. That thing's built solidly, and I dropped that a bit, at least 5 or 6 times over
Why?
Just because, like, pulling the cable, and because I didn't have like safety cables back then. Just like when you pulled the cable, it just yanked right off fell on the floor. And I had one of those stupid like stand-up desk things. Yeah. So it was like right up at the top. I don't know why I put it right at the top of it.
Didn't you? Wasn't the desk you used to use the one that the BBC?
I used to have a BBC on it, and then replaced it with a TV and an N64.
Is that an upgrade or a downgrade?
I don't know.
Aidan O'Donnell at the Toilet Duck.
Maybe I used to have to actually hit my old telly to make the colour sync.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. He says, picking up my brother's pre-order on launch and playing it all day with my mate, and then my dog spontaneously bit my mate. Like, never hurt anyone before, but just like that, bit my mate on his nose. Had to take him to the emergency room. SSX was wicked. I like these memories, this is good. Yeah. Graham at GW001 says, I remember the PS2 had an emotion engine which worked flawlessly. I had so much emotions in me when the discs couldn't be read. That was good. Joe Blythe at Ouija Joe says, my girlfriend at the time setting up a projector and surround sound to play Rez through as a birthday present in 2006.
Fucking hell. That's dedication.
That's good. So was the projector locked away for the rest? Or maybe you hired the projector.
Maybe.
Not everyone has a projector in the house.
Do you remember?
I don't have a projector.
Do you remember our PlayStation 2 projector?
Oh yeah, we it was when San Andreas came out.
We were such bad boys.
And this was when we were in 6th year at school.
Yeah.
So
we got the game a day early because I worked at the shop.
Yeah. And we brought in a PlayStation, a copy of the game, and we went down to the technical department. So it was the technicians, so they were the ones who dealt most of the science department, but did other things too. And we said, we need to borrow the projector for drama. We need it for the drama department. They were like, oh, okay, that's fine.
So we borrowed a projector, a set of speakers.
And we just played San Andreas projected onto a big screen.
All day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That was such a good day.
We had to keep it quiet as well, because we're like, this is our secret.
I know.
It's our secret thing. I don't think the teachers would have given 2 fucks.
I know.
But it was good. It was good. Paperbag Animator, a paperbag tweet, says, borrowing a grubby scratch game box off my pal and discovering Shadow of the Colossus when I got home. That's nice. Well, when that originally came out, it was like a cardboard sleeve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've got one, but it's battered to fuck. Let's have a look here. So many beautiful PS2 memories. It is the best console.
It's the best console. It's the most best games. Most games, the best games. The most best games.
Cameron Phillips at Cripple H says, I used my first student loan cheque to buy a PS2 with Gran Turismo 3. It's still going now, so taxpayer money not wasted. It's probably the reason now tuition fees have gone up.
Aye.
Too many because of
slippery slope, because that happens years ago, and now what happens, fucking Google gets off with a light tap in the wrist.
That's it. And Andrew Cuthbertson at A. Cuthberto says, getting a Final Fantasy X2 3 days early and faking a whitey to stay off school and play it. Rebel.
Fucking hell.
Andy the Rebel.
Fuck you, Mom.
Fuck you, school.
X2, man. Have you played X2?
I've not, no.
It's
I've got it though, because it's part of the HD collection.
It's interesting.
Actually, this is one I wish I'd followed up on because it's brilliant. But it's Depressed Space Loser at Space F91 saying, Jackie Chan giving me a free PS2 in 2001.
What?
True story.
What?
Why have I not followed up on that?
What? Ask him right now.
Right. We'll update
that. Right, we'll update that. Right. Bloody hell. Jackie Chan gave me a PS2.
But what for though?
That's amazing.
Right, let's have a look here.
Imagine Donnie Yen giving you a PlayStation 4 nowadays.
Imagine Donnie Yen just not battering you. Imagine Donnie Yen battering you. That'd be quite sweet. Thomas Jameson at Tam Jameson says, trading in my PS2 and all my games for 360 when it came out and regretting it almost instantly.
Never trade in your console.
Especially not a launch 360. That was not a wide range of games. That was the first year I was working in the game shop in Kilmarnock, and it was not a good range of games.
My PS2 is still working 12 years later.
Yeah.
There are very few Xbox 360s still working.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, I remember ones you remember Alan, who used to work with? I remember him dropping, and we used to keep the consoles were kept up high, and he dropped in at 360 on his head, and it was like we were worried he died.
Fucking hell!
I know, and he did die.
I've learned the hard way. Never trade in a console because you'll spend the rest of your life wanting the back.
The thing is, I actually traded my PlayStation 2 in for a GameCube.
Yeah. I mean, I love the GameCube, but
the blacks were so much better.
The colours were better.
The colours were so much better. I did it for Wind Waker. Killer 7. But yeah,
I love the GameCube, but it's not a good investment compared to PS2.
I know. I know. Killer 7, that was another good PS2 game. Came out of the GameCube as well. Barry T, no stopping epoch, says Robofish from Time Splitters.
Yeah,
talking about
Robofish. Fucking Robofish and that fucking monkey.
Pelvis Weekly at :_3 says having to put Scotch tape on the blue discs because the laser in my fat silver PS2 was shagged but not quite. Yeah.
The PS2 Slim, I mean, I say it's like indestructible and it's still working nowadays, but it doesn't like the blue discs.
I remember that being
it
a big
starts
thing.
making all these weird clicking noises.
Why is my PS2 not working? Oh, it's a blue disc.
It's a blue disc.
It's so funny.
I know.
Imagine that now though, releasing a games console and be like, some of the games might not quite work because it's a different colour disc.
I remember I borrowed, because when Lego Star Wars came out at first, I borrowed it from the shop to bring home and play, because we did that back then, and sold them next day, brand new. But I brought this one home and put it in my PS2, and because it was a slim, because it was a blue disc, it scratched it to fuck, so I had to buy the game the next day.
Is that why you ended up with a copy of that? I always wondered. He also says, doing the entirety of the Nürburgring, 24 hours in A-spec in GT4, like a complete fanny. Took him about 3 days.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. Right, just a few more, because we had so many great responses, but we are humans of flesh and bone. It's a finite time we have on this.
I've got work today.
Work. John Wishford. That's not his name.
John Wishford.
Josh Woodford.
John Wishford.
John Wishford.
Wishford Reserve.
Whoosh. John, I remember being ridiculously young, sat in my brother's room watching the T-Rex tech demo. Blew my mind. Is that not PS1?
I can't remember. I didn't.
What, or did they do one for PS2?
The only tech demo that I remember.
Actually says no. Actually, wait. Was that the original PlayStation? Fucked it.
Was it not the Rubber Ducks? Was the PS2 one? Or was that PS3?
I
can't remember. To be fair, I didn't really.
Which one was Mario 128? Was that the Wii or the?
That was the GameCube.
That
was the GameCube.
Mario 128.
I know. Oh, I love that wee video.
So good.
And I'm still waiting for that version of Zelda to come out as well.
I've got a sad story here.
Here we go.
Craig Murray. I got Metal Gear Subsistence, and he had it for less than a day because his brother loaned his PS2 and his game to a friend. And he never got the game back. Especially if it's Subsistence, because that was worth bank.
Yeah, it was. Because it's worth bank. Worth some of that dank bank. But
Dank bank.
Yeah. Oh man.
I've got my copy. I've still got a copy.
I still regret selling that. I see my skint uni days selling my pride and joys.
It's because you bought a PSP.
Because I bought a PSP.
That's a good idea though, wasn't it?
Hey, I might have been skint, but I was the only guy in first year that had a PSP.
Yeah, exactly. The only guy.
I know.
Who wants to play Ridge Racer? It just echoes into eternity.
There was actually another guy that had a PSP, right? And we played Ridge Racer together once, but we only had one copy. But there's a thing in Ridge Racer because it loaded the game.
Yeah.
Like, it loaded the level and then didn't have to load from the disc anymore.
Yeah.
So if you both went into, you put the game in one PSP, loaded the game, then took the disc out and put it in another PSP and loaded it in that, then put the PSP back in put the disc back in the first PSP and start the track, and then put the disc in the other PSP to load the track into that one, and then played it together that way. But only one PSP could play music because it played the music off the discs.
What you've just described there is the worst experience that anyone's ever played. Right, so you know that into Ridge Racer. I know that because you don't own it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my one, load it up, then put it in yours, load it up, then I'll take it back to start the race, then I'll put it back in yours to start the race, but only I can listen to music.
What's that? We'll start after you go. Right, you need to go back to your room for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, right, come back. No,
you're changing course.
Fucking hell.
That's why you were barred from still in uni. It's gone now at Danbot007, buying 3 because the laser fell out of alignment in every one. Still the best console I ever owned. You forget the lasers on a PS2.
It was only in the big ones though, the slim lines. I'm telling you, the slim lines are still go.
Except when it's scratched.
Didn't play blue discs, but normal discs is fine.
Prostate Puncher.
Funny.
So good. Corrupted memory cards.
Oh.
Pure bliss.
Well,
Did that once.
That never happened to me. It happened to you. Because I remember how it happened to you, and I remember saying, I told you so. Mm-hmm. Because I remember in Grand Theft Auto 3, you used to...
no, it was Vice City.
It was definitely 3.
Was it 3?
Definitely 3. You used to... As soon as you saved it, you start the turn-off procedure of the PlayStation 2 by holding the button before the re-message came up saying...
Well, no, it was just as the message come up, but one time I was trigger happy.
You're going to get in trouble for that. You're going to get in trouble. And you did.
I lost 10 hours of progress.
I know.
Right, two last ones.
Right, two last ones.
Ferg, a Gonzo boy, saying using it as a CD player and listening to Bush and Green Day while doing my homework.
Oh god, that sums up an era of people. Doesn't
I
it?
would
Like,
I would
fucking
put
hell.
on GTA 3 and Chatterbox. And just
Chatterbox,
leave it
so
and then
good.
just
Yeah.
do my homework
I would do that
and
as
do
well.
revision. Last one we'll do is... Last one from Texas Tom Alden. We had one in the common room at school and it broke, so we used it for throw and catch. See, it was just a console that delivered on so many levels.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's us, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a PS2 special. Your memories. So what about you? PS2.
thing is,
We've already talked about a few, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
it's one of those consoles. You just have so many. It was probably the console that got me into games.
Yeah.
Because I owned a PS1, I owned a SNES and a Game Boy and stuff, but I was never like. I never really talked much about games and stuff. We were always more about playing with toys and things. Like when the first time
Lego.
I saw GTA 3 Boxing Day.
Aye.
It was the year it came out,
Aye.
and it was just I couldn't understand it. I'd never seen a 3D game like that. I'd
Yeah.
never seen it. It's like I don't get it. I remember being handed the controller, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just couldn't understand it.
I remember walking slowly down the streets in Grand Theft Auto 3, just looking at it. It's like, how is this game even possible?
And we would spend lunchtimes at school.
Just going to our pal's
we'd go
house
to
and just playing Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, and that's it.
The rule was you just play till you're dead.
You just play and get lots of stars and things like that. So things like that. We've come to the end of the PlayStation 2 special. Hope you've enjoyed it.
I hope you've enjoyed it too.
Hope my voice hasn't been too croaky.
No. Mine's is getting croakier, actually. Have a
Oh,
look
maybe
at
it's
it soon.
swapping. I'm regenerating. So, where can you find out more about BitSocket?
You can go to our website, bit-socket.com, you can find all our podcasts and stuff like that. You can also go on youtube.com/bitsocket to find all our lovely videos, including our latest, which is a review of Final Fantasy Explorers for the 3DS.
Spoilers, we liked it.
We really liked it, as we like most things. You can follow us on Twitter, just at BitSocket, and Facebook, just search for BitSocket.
That's
and
right.
iTunes as well, just leave a wee message. A wee review would be great for us, because it always helps. It helps make us look good.
That's right. And soon we're going to be making our special super secret podcast.
Oh, yes, we are.
Which will be going out to people who have bought our t-shirts.
Brand spanking t-shirts. You can still buy them. Go to gamersedition.com.
As far as we know.
It's
like, if you just go take Gamers
Edition
into Google.
There's a BitSocket
and
t-shirt
you can
there,
buy a
and
BitSocket t-shirt.
it's lovely. It's got an embroidered logo. And
Embroidered?
Embroidered.
It's embroidered
And battered logo.
and battered. And we will be doing a wee free podcast
We
to
will.
people who buy it as
Well,
well.
they're all free.
And remember, of course, you can rate and subscribe.
Yeah, I know that. Content
Content
pigs. Engage.
with the hound. That sounds weird.
I know.
Kids, engage with the hound. You throw some children to fight a big dog.
And as always, keep it
it
socking.
socking.